Hi and welcome back to my channel. In this video you have my March unboxings. We are starting with Goldsboro. I think it's actually the February book. I have skipped a couple Goldsboro books because of duplication with other book boxes. I don't always know or remember that that one's coming. But without further ado, let's get into this book. Or this book box, I should say. Thoroughly wrapped. It looks fairly dark under there. It smells very weird. It smells like stale cigarette smoke. I remembered that I was getting this book, but not that I was getting it from Goldsboro. This book has been on my anticipated release list, so I'm excited to get to it. So we have The Book of Doors by Gareth Brown. Oh, I love the design on this. It looks like the old leather binding of a book. That is phenomenal. And then we have nothing on the back, but we have this. Oh, it just looks so good. It looks like those old books that you find back in the neglected sections of the library. And we have fun end pages here, and it is the same on both sides. It is signed. I have 1766 out of 2000. Let's take a look at what this book is about. New York bookseller Cassie Andrews lives quietly, sharing an apartment with her best friend Izzy, and yet she feels something is missing from her life. Then a favorite customer gives her an old and rather curious book. At the very front, there is a handwritten message. This is the Book of Doors. Hold it in your hand, and any door is every door. Oh, that sounds so cool. Cassie is about to discover that the Book of Doors is a special book, a magic book. A book that bestows extraordinary abilities on whoever possesses it. Soon she will learn that there are other magic books out there that can do wondrous or dreadful and terrifying things. I'm sold already. Books about books. Every book lover loves this sort of thing. So excited. Okay, I'm back with my next unboxing. It is also a February box that came on March 5th. It's a Loot Crate. They ship late. I hate the fact that they put all the paper squigglies in here, but also plastic wrap, shrink wrap the book itself. In a couple days, I will have my Book of the Month subscription, so that will be my first actual March subscription of this unboxing. Okay, so this, oh wow, this is gorgeous. The book is To Cage a God by Elizabeth May. I mean, look at that. That's intense. To cage a god is divine. To be divine, it's to rule. To rule is to destroy. It looks like there might be bone magic. You got block sprayed edges on either side. And then, wow, that is intense. Okay, there's a little bit of bowing with the pages, but that's almost to be expected. So then we have end page art, which is gorgeous. Oh my word, I love that. And then there's nothing on the back, but I love this cover here. It's giving me Moscow, St. Petersburg. I forget what the name of it is. The Cathedral St. George's, I think. Don't quote me on that. Anyway, these minarets here, and it looks like things are falling down from the sky. That's intense. All right, so let's take a look and see what this is about. Using ancient secrets, Galena and Sarah's mother grafted gods into their bones. That's where the bones are coming. Wow. Getting you from the first sentence. Bound to brutal deities and granted forbidden power no commoner has held in a millennia, the sisters been raised as living weapons. Now the time has come for them to overthrow an empire, no matter the cost. Oh, wow. I think there is Russian influences, because as I'm looking at this, you look at some of the other things in the artwork, it does look like Russian influences. I'd be interested to maybe learn more of that. I am excited about this one. I'm back with some more things to unbox. I actually have 3 boxes this time. Well, I mean, one's a package, but same difference. So first up is comics subscription. Oh, yes, I love this because I get the kids version. Again, I have the sticker, I guess, and the pin, the button badge. I don't keep those. This one I'm really excited about. It's Aelwulf of Monsters and Middle School. The title has me. I'm hooked. And I'm also really excited that I switched to the kids version because a lot of these are middle grade level. I think that will be very helpful because a lot of kids prefer graphic novels, and I think it'll be a better use to eventually move a lot of my graphic novels, not all of them, but a lot of them, to my classroom library. Now we have Inkstone, which is a little bit delayed. Inkstone is a quarterly subscription. I believe this is their first book for first quarter, but it was delayed in shipment. This is a book that I have an ARC of, so this book is going to go immediately on my TBR cart. And it is another book that starts another series by an author where I have the first book of their other series on my series to read list in 2024. That was a very convoluted sentence, but I think you know what I mean. So I'm gonna unpackage it. I'm also gonna take off the library covering. Interestingly enough, this actually comes with a Dear Reader letter. So we have obviously it's The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett. That is the same cover imagery, but we've got this here. So here is the book, The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett. Like I just said, the book that I have on my series to start list is the first in his Foundryside trilogy. We've got block, sprayed edges. Here is the back. We do not have end page art. It is signed, and it is number 419 out of 600 numbered copies. And then we have this lovely illustration there. I believe this is a murder mystery. And this whole deal right here is the thing. It's a tree sprouting out of someone, if I remember the synopsis correctly. Yes, here's the synopsis of this. Not a synopsis, a blurb. Part Sherlock Holmes murder mystery, part Through the Looking Glass. The Tainted Cup is one of the wildest, most original stories I've ever had the privilege to explore. And that was a blurb by Wesley Chu. If my track record continues of loving fantasy murder mystery type books, this is going to be a winner for me. And then lastly, we have a very large book of the month box. For the first time, I have 6 books in here. Now, they don't let you choose 5 add-ons. The reason I have 6 is because they let you choose your free book of the year. And it was, I think, Part of Your World or Yours Truly, an Abby Jimenez book. That one. I don't do romance. I went out on a limb for the one that I got, and I'm going to see if I can find it real quick. So the one that I chose, I've heard really good things about this. I am dipping my toes into the idea of a thriller. I really haven't read them before, but I've heard good things about this, and this was the only one on the list that I was remotely interested in. My votes, I can't remember what they were for. I think I voted for Amina and one other one. They weren't on the finalists. I did have one of the ones that was on the finalist, and that was Wayward, but I already own it and I've already read it. This is my 6th book of the month. This is going to be a stretch for me, but I'm interested to see, and I got it for free anyway, so I wouldn't have paid extra for it, but since I can try it for free, why not do that? All right, so here are the books that I got. 2 of them are nonfiction. I think some of them are, at least a couple of them were add-ons. Okay, so the first one that I got is Hereafter, a memoir. It's very short. This is, so Amy Lynn never expected to find a love like the one she shares with her husband Curtis, a gifted young architect who pulls her towards joy, adventure, and greater acceptance. They're married for a few months. He goes to run a half marathon and ends up dead. So I love memoirs, and then the idea of running a half marathon, and unfortunately, deaths like these are not super common, but they're also not uncommon. So I'm intrigued to get to this one. The other one we have is Grief is for People by Sloane Crossley. Some heavy books here. This is one of the add-ons because it says memorable memoir, and it also is quite short. So this is appending the grief memoir category. Grief is for People is a category-defying story of the struggle to hold on to the past without being consumed by it. A modern elegy, it rises precisely to console and challenge our notions of mourning during these grief-stricken times. I think this is going to be hard-hitting. All right, so the other ones that I have, the Hereafter was my pick for the month. Okay, so 2 of the 3 that I have left were add-ons. This other one was the only other one within the monthly selections that I wanted, and that is Anita de Monte's Laughs Last. Best-selling author, Gonzalez, I don't know how to pronounce her first name. I should look that up. Delivers a mesmerizing novel about a first-generation Ivy League student who uncovers the genius work of a female artist decades after her suspicious death. So it's a dual timeline story, and there's two different students here. There's more to it. Okay, so let me read a little bit more here. Moving back and forth through time and told from the perspective of both women, Anita de Montes' Last is a propulsive, witty examination of power, love, and art, daring to ask who gets remembered and who is left behind in the rarefied world of the elite. So I'm really intrigued to get to this one. Next, we have one that I already had on my TBR, and one that I'm really intrigued by. It's historical fiction. It's called The Great Divide by Cristina Enriquez. This is a story set during the building of the Panama Canal, a powerful novel about the construction of the Panama Canal, casting light on the unsung people who lived, loved, and labored there. So I'm really excited about this. And the last one that I chose is a stretch for me, but I'm really intrigued to get started with it, and that is Neighbors and Other Stories. This is a reprint because Diane Oliver originally published this in the 70s, I believe, but it's a collection of short stories. No, not in the 70s. A remarkable talent far ahead of her time, Diane Oliver died in 1966 at the age of 22. Wow. Leaving behind these crisp and often chilling tales that follow various characters as they navigate the day-to-day perils of Jim Crow America. In this first and only collection by a masterful storyteller, finally taking her rightful place in the canon of 20th century African American literature, Oliver's insightful stories reverberate into the present day. So I'm intrigued to get to this one. Okay, I'm back with another unboxing. I think all that's left for this month are Fairy Loot and Illumicrate, and I'm just going to mention this now because I don't know if I will remember in future months, but Fairy Loot has started a new subscription, a Romantasy subscription, and I was hoping that that would mean that they would put all of their fantasy romance, all of their Romantasy into that subscription. In April, the book is The Honey Witch, which is a fantasy romance. And they're launching their Romantasy subscription. Come on, Fairy Loot. I know that it's really popular right now, and all of you guys that work there seem to like fantasy romance, but there are some people who are not keen on fantasy romance, but want the pretty books, the special editions, and they want like actual fantasy. Sure, it can have a romance in it, that's fine, but I don't want a romance book as a fantasy book. Setting that aside, I'm getting frustrated enough that I might cancel the subscription. I hope not, but I don't want to keep paying those prices and just keep getting fantasy romance. Their skip policy is not great. I have one skip left, and I don't know how many more months I have. So let's get back to one that is an actual fully fledged fantasy subscription, and that is The Broken Binding. So this is the third book in the trilogy that I really didn't know anything about. The next one I'm really excited is the Lies of Locke Lamora series. So I'm excited to get those books. Now, technically it's not a trilogy, but only 3 books have been published. That is really interesting. So they put all 3 bookmarks. I guess in the previous 2, they hadn't put bookmarks. All right, so this is the third in that series, like I've already mentioned. This book is The Slaughtered Gods. Again, a lot of the coloring on this is very, very dark. We've got block sprayed edges on either side, and I'm pretty sure these go together. Give me just 1 second. Now that I'm looking at them, maybe not, but it is interesting what they've chosen there. They don't necessarily go together, but those last 2 look like they do. The artwork, the end page artwork is stunning. That, I would not want to be that person there, facing that giant wolf. We've got that there, and then we've got the cover that wraps around. Looks really, really impressive. Okay, I'm back with the last 2 unboxings of March. Yes, this is technically April. However, Illumicrate ships on the last day of the month, basically. And I believe that this is the March Goldsboro. It arrived at the end of March, so it would be really surprising if it were April. I should really keep track of those books, but I did skip one of my Fairy Loot. I don't remember if I've gotten a Fairy Loot or not this month, but I think I have, based on my spray pages that I have over here. in this stack, but I did skip one of them because it was Evocations, which it leans a lot more horror, and I knew I wouldn't really like that. So let's take a look at the Goldsboro book. I am looking at this book and I thought it was the April book, so it may be the April book, but I'm pretty sure, I was just looking at the dates, I'm pretty sure it's the March book, but I am really intrigued by this and I love the design. It's High Voltage by an author duo, Chris and Jen Sugden? Yes, Sugden. And we've got this awesome design all the way around. Very bright blue actual hardcover. And this cool design on the front. If I remember correctly, it is steampunked. And it says, Even Greater London 1887. So pretty sure it's steampunk. From the creators of the acclaimed audio drama podcast Victoria City comes a hilarious novel set in the greatest, most chaotic city in history. Twisty, inventive, and joyously funny, High Voltage is perfect for fans of Ben Aronovich, Douglas Adams, and Terry Pratchett. Now, I haven't read any Terry Pratchett. I know I need to rectify that. However, I'm really excited about this. So this seems like maybe it's a private detective agency and it's steampunk. I think I'm gonna love this book. At least, I hope I'm gonna love this book. Now, let's get to Illumicrate. I know I say it every time, but I don't understand the purpose of paper squigglies and a plastic wrapped book. Does not make any sense to me. Now this book, I was so excited to see on the list because it is a book I put on my quasi most anticipated. I find it hard to make those lists, but I have been looking forward to this book and it looks absolutely gorgeous. And that is Fathom Folk by Eliza Chan. This, oh my word, this is so pretty. I hope I love this book. Oh, the colors are gorgeous. And look at these sprayed edges. It's a full picture. Sky into the sea. Wow. And I did my favorite kind of hardcover. Okay, so we have same end page art on both sides. It is signed and I believe those are the Chinese characters, probably. This has to be one of the prettiest books I have ever seen or held in my hand. This is stunning. I'm literally speechless. One of the most beautiful books I have ever seen. What a way to end the unboxing. This might be one of those books that even if I don't like it, that I keep. I'm hoping so much that I love this book because wow. Absolute wow. As can be told by a lot of the imagery, this has to do with, I guess, mermaid type creatures. Welcome to a city name I don't know how to pronounce. Shining pearl of human civilization and a safe haven for those fleeing civil unrest. Or at least that's how it first appears. But in the semi-flooded city, okay, so maybe partially, humans are quite literally on top, peering down from shining towers and aerial walkways on the Fathom Folk. Sirens, sea witches, kelpies. Oh, wow. Okay, so this is a debut fantasy. It's ocean-based. I'm just in love with this book. It is so pretty. I cannot get over how gorgeous this is. This better be amazing. So there you go. There are all the books that I got this month. I have to say I did put away a couple of them accidentally, a couple that I had pulled out for Romathon that were red covers. I read one of those, but not the others. So here are all of the books that I got from book company subscriptions this month. Thanks so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one.